Ladies and gentlemen, the drug cartel, Gulf cartel is what they're called, over in Mexico that kidnapped those four Black American citizens last week, wrote an apology letter and sent it to the police department there in Mexico. They said this is unheard of. They have never, ever gotten any apology from a drug cartel group ever. I'm going to go ahead and play this video from NBC.
Information now about a fifth person who almost joined the four Americans who were kidnapped in Mexico in that minivan. The group all grew up together, according to the wife of one of the survivors. They were from South Carolina, where the local community held this vigil last night. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky is near the southern border in Brownsville, Texas. He's following this for us. Morgan, we just learned that the cartel sent a letter to the Mexican police. What do we know?
Yeah, Kate, this is a wild development here that's just happening in the last hour or so. These have been photos and a picture of a letter that is now circulated on social media. I do want to credit my colleague Ken Delanian for just confirming through a senior law enforcement official who told NBC News that this letter does appear to be a statement of apology from the Gulf Cartel, which, of course, resides primarily in neighboring Matamoros, just across this international bridge, Kate. I want to read you a portion of that letter and then talk about the several photos that accompanied it. But this was a letter that appeared today on behalf of the cartel, saying in part that they strongly condemn the events of Friday, March 3rd, of course, that being the date of this horrific kidnapping last week, in which, unfortunately, an innocent working mother died. That was the Mexican national, Kate, and four American citizens were kidnapped, of which two died. For this reason, we have decided to hand over those involved and directly responsible for the events, who at all times acted under their own determination and indiscipline and against the rules in which the CDG has always operated, that acronym standing for the Gulf Cartel. So, Kate, essentially the larger organization disavowing a faction within it. And we saw photos of multiple men sitting tied in front of a pickup truck. Very important to note here, Kate, we do not have confirmation that those men have been taken into custody by Mexican law enforcement at this time. But we do have a senior law enforcement official in the United States saying that he does believe this letter and believes photos released by the cartel are indeed real. Much more to come, though. Kate?
Yeah, this is really a big development. And it really raises the question, doesn't it, Morgan? If they're apologizing because of all the attention that's been on these American citizens, what about all the other people who are involved in cartel violence every single day? There are thousands of people missing in Mexico.
Yeah, there absolutely are. And I had a chance to speak with a cartel expert a short time ago. I asked him, put this in context for us. Have you ever seen a cartel essentially act as PR following a crime of this nature? He says, I have not. The only thing that makes this different is the fact that this involved U.S. citizens. And he added that, as you mentioned, Kate, there are kidnappings, killings, indiscriminate crime that takes place not too far from where I'm standing. But because it involves Mexican citizens, there would never be an apology of this nature coming from a cartel.
Yeah, well, this is shocking to me because I've never heard of any drug cartels apologizing for any reason. So the cartel condemned the violence in a letter obtained by Associated Press and said that they had turned over members who were involved. So they wrote an apology letter and they turned over the people that were involved, a drug cartel? We must be in the twilight zone for real, y'all. A senior law enforcement officer told NBC News that U.S. authorities believe the letter is legitimate. The Gulf Cartel, Grupo, strongly condemns the events of Friday, March 3rd, in which unfortunately an innocent working mother and four American citizens were kidnapped, for which two died. A translation of the letter. For this reason, we have decided to hand over those involved and directly responsible for the events, who at all times acted under their own determination. And they said, wow, this is against the rules of the cartel, what they did. Oh, this is really shocking. So we know there were four Black Americans that were kidnapped, and some of them were shot after they drove into Mexico, and they came in through Brownsville, Texas. And they were, we know she was going for a medical procedure. And the video shows the gunman dragging the people into a white pickup truck, a law enforcement source with knowledge of the matter said. So we know there were only two survivors in this whole thing, and they were hospitalized. And to my knowledge, I think they still are. I haven't heard anything about them being released from the hospital. And McGee's mother said she had spoke with her daughter, and William's wife said he has been shot in the leg, but they were both back in the U.S. And this is according to the Associated Press. Her younger brother Zendel was among the four victims. Aaliyah McLeod, McGee cousin, identified another member of the group, Saheed Woodard. McLeod said the group is from South Carolina and they had been traveling in a rental vehicle with North Carolina license plates when, of course, when they were stopped and shot at by this cartel group. And apparently the group knew each other since childhood. A fifth person was along for the trip from South Carolina. The traveler got out just before the group reached the border because the person didn't have the documentation needed to cross into Mexico, according to law enforcement on Wednesday. The fifth person could be seen riding with the group in video taken by Williams. A law enforcement official with knowledge of the matter said the woman in the group had been seeking a cosmetic medical procedure. The official cartel gunman targeted the group in case of a mistaken identity. And we know the story about they were looking for, they thought these people were Haitian that they were going after. And I had somebody come in my comment section and write, how could Haitians be, and there are no Haitians in Mexico. There are Haitians in Mexico. In fact, there are Haitians all throughout South America. When they leave Haiti, they don't just come to the US. They go to other parts of South America, and they do go into Mexico. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about, that there's no Haitians in Mexico, as if you've been to Mexico and you know what's there. So, anyway, in its letter, the Gulf Cartel said it respects the life and tranquility and integrity of the innocent and apologize to the society and the affected American individuals and their families. Wow. In addition, CDG, which is the initial of the cartel, asked society to remain calm because we are committed to ensure that these errors caused by indiscipline, the indiscipline, are not repeated. The guilty party will pay regardless of who they are, the letter reads. So the only one that they have identified is the one I spoke about in my previous video, that Jose Guadalupe N. And he was the one that was guarding the shack that they were locked in. and he was arrested at the scene. So the State Department issued a do not travel alert for that area in Mexico, noting that organized crimes, including gun battles, murder, and kidnapping, are common along the border. Yeah, well, these are known things, and hopefully people will pay attention and not just jump up and go to places and you don't know what the climate is like there. So, y'all tell me what you think. I think this is pretty shocking. I tell you what, in my lifetime, I have never heard of any gangs or cartels or anything writing letters to the police and apologizing to victims. Yeah, and turning over the people that did it to the police. A cartel did that. Yeah, I tell you what, we are definitely in some freak universe right now. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.